All right, so the government is talking about giving us a second stimulus check. But if they don't, I have a plan B. Check this out. Right here. I'm gonna entertain you with this magic trick. Just kidding. That's not the backup plan. The backup plan is to gently stimulate the like button if you noticed the shirt change. All right, so now let's talk about the stimulus check. Hi, my name is Andrei Jikh. Hope you're doing good, hope you're feeling great, and let's talk stimulus. Are we still getting a second stimulus check? The good news is that Obama, Clinton, and Bush have all volunteered to go on national television to get vaccinated publicly to hopefully give us some confidence that it's a good vaccine. But realistically, that vaccine won't be given to everyone until the people that are on the front line, the people that are the most vulnerable and need it the most, get it first. But in the meantime, we are setting record highs on things we do not want to. Like hospitalizations, for example, which are at a record high. And we are losing one person roughly every 30 seconds, and that's in the US alone. And now that we're entering Christmas, those numbers could get potentially even worse. And if we get a second economic shutdown as a result of that, then the jobs prospects for 2021 are not gonna look too good. So lucky for us, there are now 3 new proposals in Congress to hopefully fix this situation, to get the stimulus talks back on the table so they can finally start negotiating again. The circus is back in town, and here are the 3 starring acts. So the first of these proposals was from the Democrats, and it was led by Nancy Pelosi. So the Speaker.gov website published this specific article. Now I'm not gonna read it to you, but I will summarize it. It said, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi and Secretary Steven Mnuchin got together on December 1st on Monday to talk at lengths about an omnibus appropriations bill. And I know what you're thinking, what's an omnibus appropriations bill? So it's a proposed law, basically a bill that talks about a variety of different issues and potentially unrelated topics. But the phone call itself went something like this. Hey, I really think we need to get the vaccine from vaccine to vaccination. That's big brain stuff, I agree. I also think we should make it available for free and to give it to everyone as quickly as possible. Totally agree, yes. I also think a stimulus bill is long overdue and we should really do something about this. And look, I know I said that I've wanted nothing less than $3 trillion, but I'm willing to concede and say that I've lost, and I'm willing to settle for $908 billion. Hello? And that was that. Now that's not actually how the conversation went down, that's just my interpretation of it, but I'm just not sure why the government puts out articles like this when they have no substance at all. So hopefully you got some laughs out of that. But as far as we know, that conversation, which happened on Monday, didn't really talk about stimulus checks. Now, the second proposal that we have was created by a bipartisan group of lawmakers that happened on Tuesday, and here it is. Now, the second bill is asking for $288 billion for help for small businesses in the form of the PPP, which is the Paycheck Protection Program loan, and another $160 billion for aid toward state and local governments. Now, this is something that the Democrats really fought hard to include in the next stimulus bill that the Republicans did not want. So in exchange, the Republicans are going to get their liability protections for companies, which means there would be a temporary freeze on certain COVID-related lawsuits throughout the duration of the pandemic. And this is something the Republicans fought hard to include in the next stimulus bill that the Democrats did not want. And to meet somewhere in the middle for the American people, we would get an additional $300 a week in unemployment benefits, which remember is half of what it was before, but for an additional 4 months. Now, on top of that, we'd also get around $16 billion in help for distributing the vaccine, as well as contact tracing, plus another $82 billion in help with education and keeping schools open, plus another $45 billion in transportation. Unfortunately, though, this bill does not include any stimulus checks. So this proposal does not include any form of a direct payment to the American people. But you could make the case that it's at least a good starting point for Congress to come together and start the negotiation process on some solid groundwork. But unfortunately, on Tuesday, the Grinch stole Christmas, because Mitch McConnell came along and shot the idea down and rejected the bill, saying that he didn't want to entertain the idea, nor waste his time sending a bill to the president that he thought the president wouldn't sign. So instead, Mitch McConnell has his own point of view as far as what a stimulus bill should look like, and here it is, the third proposal that we have. Now, Mitch McConnell's plan in comparison to the second proposal I just talked about is relatively small at only $500 billion, but it gets a few things right. Like, for example, he wants to help small businesses and give them $337.2 billion in PPP money, plus an additional $105 billion towards education to keep them operational, plus another $31 billion in distribution for the vaccine, as well as another $16 billion for contact tracing, plus $5 billion for childcare. So all of those are awesome things to have and include on a bill, except it leaves out a few major things that economists have been warning us and urging us to pass. For example, his bill doesn't actually help people that are already out of work, like freelancers and gig workers, where they are almost literally going to be left behind on December 31st, where it's estimated that around 9.1 million people will be left without any government assistance. And this hits home for me especially because I live in Las Vegas and I have a lot of entertainer friends that are struggling right now to make ends meet, just because our economy is so heavily based on travel and entertainment. And Mitch McConnell's plan only extends unemployment benefits for 1 month. But unfortunately, it doesn't actually add the weeks. So if you've used up all of your unemployment benefits, then Mitch McConnell's plan doesn't give you more. His plan also does not include any help to state and local governments. And that sort of affects all of us, because that's what's responsible for making roads work the way they work. That's what organizes policemen and firefighters. That's what helps people get business licenses and actually start a new career. So if you're trying to get a real estate agent license, then that's going to be a lot slower than it used to be. But the worst part about his proposal is that it also does not include a stimulus check. So while I understand Mitch McConnell's point of view to some degree, in that now there's a vaccine, perhaps there's less of an urgency to just suddenly give everyone money, and because the economic recovery has been really fast this year, things are great, there's also evidence to suggest that it has significantly slowed down, and to ignore it completely would be irresponsible, because people's incomes are down. Inflation is about to get very real, and unemployment claims are up. And even though the stock market continues to climb higher and higher and set record highs, there's still clear evidence of all the uncertainty and the fact that we need to do more to help people out directly. Thankfully, even Mitch McConnell's proposal is exactly that. It's just a proposal, so there's very little chance that it's going to pass in its current form anyway. So lucky us, if none of these proposals work out, then there's one more ace up our sleeve, and that is 2 words: lame duck. And no, I'm not referring to these lame magic tricks either. It's actually a real thing that happens in Congress. Believe it or not, that's a real phrase used to describe a Congress that gets together after a new president has been elected, but before the new president had a chance to take office. And it's precisely this lame duck season, which in my opinion is one of the last chances that we're gonna get this year to get something together that looks or resembles anything remotely like a stimulus bill. And that's because on December 11th, when Congress gets together, they need to come up with a budget plan. And if they don't, they risk going into another government shutdown. So December 11th is going to be the important date to pay attention to, because it's going to be one of the last chances that Congress comes together and hopefully negotiates something that's going to benefit the people directly. Unfortunately, if none of this gets done, then our situation could get far worse, even as economists and the Federal Reserve continue to give us warning after warning about what could happen if we don't pass a stimulus bill. Because right now, there's 12 million Americans that are about to lose their unemployment insurance benefits. Federal paid family leave programs are about to expire, along with student and renter protections. So it's either we do something about this now, or we face the consequences soon. Either way, I hope the government gets this one right. Now, as far as my take on this, I think it's pretty sad that none of these 3 proposals included a direct form of payment for the American people. At this point, I feel like Dr. Strange, who's just trying to go into the future and see all the possible outcomes in which we get a stimulus check. It's like, how many possible outcomes did you see? 14,605,000. How many did we win? None of them. Frustrating is an understatement, which makes it particularly sad that as we're entering the height of the pandemic, we are going to let as many as 12 million Americans run out of benefits and protections on Christmas. The government could literally not come up with a worse gift to give to people after everything people have been through this year in 2020. But I have faith that on December 11th, the Congress is going to come together, they're going to extend our protections, they're going to give us unemployment benefits, and hopefully another stimulus check. I'm staying optimistic, but if you're watching this at home, do as much as you possibly can to take matters into your own hands and teach yourself a new skill, get a new license, anything where you don't have to rely on the government, even if it means depositing $100 into Webull and getting 4 free stocks. You can withdraw that $100 later after a month of keeping it there, but you'll get 4 free stocks, 2 of which could be valued up to $1,600 each. You can get a 5th free stock from Robinhood if you haven't already. Just go get the free money while it's out there right now. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, please leave me a comment down below. I try to respond to as many people as possible. Or if you'd like to write me, I have my PO box down below as well. You can also join my free Discord group or just follow me on Instagram where I post from time to time. Love you. Thank you so much for watching my video. I will see you back here on Monday and Friday, sometimes a Wednesday. Stay safe, stay warm, be kind. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.